pleasure. My pleasure. How much time do we have? I guess maybe that's the first important.
We talked, the last note I got was 2:15.
Yep.
So 2:15, so about half an
hour. I will, I'm honored to be here and to have the opportunity to offer some remarks about the McGuinty government's focus on our continued commitment to the education of the pupils of the province of Ontario. Since coming to government, I believe that we have had a very significant and positive impact in our schools, and I think that that is very good news for students and their families and our future as a province. We are committed to continuing to invest to support school boards to enable the improvement of student achievement in all schools, in all publicly funded schools in the province of Ontario. We've also, because of the provincial testing that we do, we have been able to identify that there are a band of students who are just falling short of that provincial average benchmark. And by the way, when we talk about students meeting the average, we're using B as an average. A lot of jurisdictions that talk about averages, it's a much lower grade. And sometimes it can, be in the 60s. For Ontario students, that's a B. And we know that there's a band of students who are just below that. So we're really focusing on how we can deploy resources, how we can better support teachers, so that they can bump those students, have those students be able to get that B. So improving student achievement, closing the student gap. We know that we need to continue to build public confidence in education. I believe that we have come a long way in doing that. I think that because we have had, since coming to office, labor peace in our schools, I think families are feeling more positive about the school experience. I think they're more confident that their kids are getting a good education because they're going to school every day. And we want to build on that. I think that we have done a great deal of good work having parents understand that when their kids go to a publicly funded school in Ontario, that they are getting a good education. I think that the provincial scores is a way for parents to be assured that they know their kids are being measured consistently with all kids in Ontario, but the same measure is applied to everyone. So we have made some significant investments. I think that it's no secret our investment this year stands at some $20.2 billion. I believe that demonstrates that education is a priority for the McGuinty government. We have hired in the neighborhood of 11,400 more teachers. Some of that hiring is connected to our lower class sizes in the primary grades, but we have also other initiatives that will, we believe, enable students to be more successful. Education is, in our view as a government, what is absolutely essential to our future success. I regularly have the privilege of being with the Premier, and he often refers to a statement that was made by Barack Obama, who would say that coming out of the recession, the jurisdiction that will outperform them will be the one that out-educates them. I think that we have an excellent record in terms of our investment and our priority, and that will continue because we know that in order for the economy of Ontario to be strong and that will attract jobs in the future, we have to have the qualified people. When I say qualified people, if the people of Ontario do not have the specific credentials for certain jobs, that they have the basic credentials that companies need to train folks for whatever work they would bring to this province. But we are looking to build a stronger economy, and we know that we will be successful when we continue to invest in the success of our students. So those would be my opening comments, and I'm happy to get your feedback or questions.
I have a question related to something that took place here just over the last few days. Did you hear about the 10-year-old whiz kid?
Yes.
So what do you think about that? He wants to go to high school intellectually.
What do I think about that? You know, I'm gonna answer that question from the perspective of a mother. I have 4 kids. Actually, today my oldest son is turning 30. So it's been a little while since my children were in that age range. But after 4, what I have come to appreciate that there's certainly the school part of a child's education is very, very important. And that education is definitely comprised of their academics and their sports and their social interaction. And I really think that the academic piece is very important, but I also think that it's important that kids have an opportunity to socialize with their peers, with kids their age. I guess my kids were always involved in sports, or whether it was soccer or hockey or baseball or basketball. But I have to tell you that when they come home now for visits, they call up the kids they played with when they were in school, but kids who were on their hockey team or whatever. So I share that story with you so you can get my sense as a mother that I think that we do have some extraordinary programs in our elementary schools to address some of the exceptional academic ability of kids. But I think there's another important piece for parents to remember, and it is that you have to let kids be kids too. And I think that growing up and socializing with your peers, and while you might know a lot about what's in a textbook, in terms of understanding relationships with friends and how that relates to your role in the world, I think that that's an important piece. And so I'm giving you my own personal perspective from my own life experience as a mother, having had kids, and how they have benefited from a good education system, but they've also benefited from those opportunities. I think they learn a lot from their peers as well. And I think that if a 10-year-old were to leap into another experience, that child would miss something.
If I could just toss in a comment there. I've been looking at some of the research that's been done on this, and there seems to be a consensus among the academic community that accelerating a kid into another grade doesn't really have the negative consequences that are associated with it. I believe a stat was cited by Johns Hopkins University that 95% of the kids, once accelerated, said they thought it was a good thing overall, and what little discomfort they experienced was made up for by the fact that they were challenged.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really not disputing in terms of a student. If we're talking about a student accelerating from grade 4 to 5, even 4 to 6, but a 10-year-old is in the junior division at school. I'm sorry, grade 10 is, they're in a, get my grades right here. We're in high school, but it's their second year of high school. To go to a university experience, I think I think at high school that there's a lot of social education that happens. And, when I talk about my own kids, it was in those years where, they did have very strong relationships. And I think that's an important part of, when we talk about educating children, it's the whole child. So that would be my perspective.
Is it common for kids to advance, like to skip a grade these days?
Well, I think that